Yomi today, on page 256. We're talking about ochel nefesh. Okay. 7. Since food generally tastes better when it's freshly cooked, one may even cook on Yom Tov something that could have been cooked beforehand. This is true even if it could have been kept fresh through freezing or refrigeration. However, food that's just as tasty when you cook it before Yom Tov, then preferably you should cook it before Yom Tov. So a person should, when a person cooks for Yom Tov, the main reason why he's cooking on Yom Tov is because it's not as fresh if I cook it before Yom Tov. But if it is just as fresh, better to cook it before Yom Tov. Number 8, one may heat water on Yom Tov, even if you were able to do it before Yom Tov. Okay, not all melachot for food are permitted. Number 9, melachot such as reaping, grinding, squeezing, trapping, it's all still asur midarabanan to do it on Yom Tov, even if they're performed to prepare food. 10, it is prohibited to squeeze olives, grapes, and other fruits that are squeezed for their juice. Like an orange, you can't squeeze an orange. A fruit may not be even squeezed over sugar, but it may be squeezed over a food that absorbs its juice. Let's say a person squeezes grapes or olives or something over a food, over a salad, over a dish of food. That's allowed, but to squeeze into a cup of sugar is not allowed. A lemon, you're allowed to squeeze, no problem whatsoever. Yes, Eliyahu.
Some people, when they finish the Shabbat meal, they take a towel and they squeeze it, and then they wipe.
Oh, no, that's not allowed.
So what can they do besides that?
If they want to wipe the table, they should take a napkin. They should take a napkin, wipe the table. They shouldn't, even if they use something that's wet, it can be damp, but it can't be soaked. If it's soaked, you can't carry it. It's a sort to carry. Pick up something that's soaked, you might come to squeeze it. And definitely, you cannot squeeze on Yom Tov and Shabbat. That's a sort. Definitely. Okay. 12. Although one may kindle a flame on Yom Tov, the Chachamim forbade it making a fire when none previously existed. You're not allowed to start a new fire on Yom Tov, midirabanan. The rabbis made it a sur. It looks like nolad. It looks like creating something new. Chachamim felt that's going to take away from the sanctity of the day, so therefore they made it a sur. Therefore, one may not make a fire on Yom Tov by rubbing 2 sticks together or stones together or striking a match. But what you're allowed to do is take from fire to fire, existing fire to another existing fire. 13, even though you can't strike a match on Yom Tov, one may light a match or any candle from an existing fire. 14, one may even light a match that's not touching the fire itself. Let's say the fire is under a glass and one puts the match to the top of the glass and then it's hot on the glass and that's what makes it turn on. That's allowed. But better to light the match from an actual fire. In case of need, 15, one may ask a non-Jew to create a new fire by striking a match or turning on a light or other electric appliances such as a fan in times of need. Not always. Okay, what's the reason? Because turning on a new fire on Yom Tov is darabanan. Telling a goy to do stuff for you is darabanan. It's a shvut d'shvut, 2 darabanans on top of each other. In the case of mitzvah, in the case of a tzar, in the case of hefsed, it'll be mutar. Okay. Let's say a person didn't know this halacha. He turned on a new fire. He struck a match on Yom Tov. He's not allowed to do that, but he did it anyways. You're allowed to benefit from it. It's not a surah d'oraita. It's only a surah d'rabanan. 17. Don't think because it's only a surah d'rabanan to turn on a new fire, you could drive a car on Shabbat, on Yom Tov. You're not allowed to drive a car on Yom Tov. Also, we're not allowed. Driving a car on Yom Tov is forbidden. 18. Electricity. On Yom Tov, electricity may not be turned on. It's considered lighting a fire. Let's say somebody has a hearing aid. Can he use his hearing aid on Yom Tov? One may use a hearing aid on Yom Tov, but you cannot change its setting. I guess it has a loud and has a lower. You can raise the volume, lower the volume. You can't play with it on Shabbat, on Yom Tov, I'm sorry.
Or the batteries.
Also, you can't change the batteries. 20. It is not permitted to press the button on an elevator on Yom Tov, but one can enter an automatic elevator on Yom Tov. It goes floor by itself. That you're allowed to ride on Yom Tov. 21. Even though cooking is permitted on Yom Tov, one should consult his rabbi to ask what kind of stove tops and oven and how to use them. Because many products, by opening the oven and turning on the fire, turning up the fire, one starts a new fire, right? For example, some stoves, when you twist them, olden stoves, how they work, you turn on the gas, just gas is coming out. You have to take a match and you have to put it to the flame, put it to the gas, so the gas will catch fire, and then the fire will stay on the stove. Today, the new stoves, they have already some mechanism there that sends a little bit of an electric shock, a little bit of voltage. And when you turn it, it goes tick, 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 in order that it should ignite the gas right away by itself. They don't need you to bring a match. So on Yom Tov, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to trigger that little noise, that little electricity to turn on the gas. You have to skip it, and you have to only turn on the gas, and you have to bring a existing flame to the gas to do esh la-esh, to do fire to fire. So therefore, you have to know what kind of stove you have and what kind of oven you have to make sure that it's permitted to be used on Yom Tov, because some of them are not allowed to be used on Yom Tov. 22, it is permitted to use a hot water dispenser on Yom Tov, even though it will cause cold water to enter the machine and eventually cause the machine to ignite and boil the water that entered. Okay, so downstairs they have this big boiler for the water, for the chai, whatever. When it runs out, new water comes in and gets cooked. That's allowed to be used on Yom Tov, but for Shabbat, you have to shut it off. Okay. Barbecues. A lot of people like to make barbecue on Yom Tov. You have to know how to do the barbecue. Electric barbecue. Let's say you have an electric barbecue. One can do so by using a Shabbat timer to turn it on and off. You could also clean the grease from the grill so it will not stick for next time. Once the barbecue's off, it is permitted to unplug it from the wall and move it if you need the place. Coal barbecue. A lot of people use coal, charcoal, right? One may light the coals from an existing flame on Yom Tov. You may even fan or blow the coals on Yom Tov in order for them to be strong. You're allowed to move the coals from one side of the barbecue to the other side of the barbecue, and you're not allowed to extinguish. At the end of you finish cooking, you can't put water on it to turn off the barbecue. You have to let the barbecue just die out, and then that's how you're gonna leave it alone. And finally, C, gas barbecue. One may light the gas barbecue from an existing flame. You may even higher or lower the fire on Yom Tov. However, you're not allowed to turn it off completely. Next time, we're going to talk about showering on Yom Tov. Baruch Le'olam. Amen.